Yes, you're right, Kris. It is a very good book. Anyway, it is Parental Alienation Awareness Day. Oh, I hate awareness days. It sounds boring, but the issues are not. Fathers' rights and family rights. And we have Kris Titus, who's an advocate, she's an activist. She seems to change organisations. I'll probably get it wrong. Which organisation are you with now?
I'm not actually.
Oh, you're not?
Currently.
You've changed completely.
I have, again.
Right.
No, I have belonged to most of the major organizations.
You've led most of them, haven't you?
I have at one point.
Now, why would you call anything awareness? I mean, there are 15 awareness days every day. I mean, it's I don't know, Belgian lobotomy awareness day tomorrow. But the cause is a very interesting one, and that is that a lot of people, fathers principally, but not exclusively, are denied the rights to see their children. Grandmothers, grandparents can't see their children. Where no one has done anything wrong, but the courts and judges and lawyers and some mothers are just venomous and will not either obey the law or make sure that people are treated justly.
That's true. And unfortunately, it's a little bit more of a societal issue now. You know, the broadest context to explain parental alienation to the public at large would be we see these parents portrayed a certain way on television cartoons, and quite often dad is a buffoon and mom may potentially be a tramp. Now, when you start to personalize that and take it down to the point now where it is that specific child's parent that is being portrayed in a negative light, it can have some really adverse effects.
Come on, so what? I have 4 kids. They've watched a lot of TV. They love their parents.
Yes.
It's how good the parent is, not what some idiot on television says.
I absolutely disagree, because what happens in a divorce situation or a separation type situation is now that child, whether in earshot and whether intentionally or not, is hearing one parent be denigrated on a constant and consistent
by the other
basis.
Parent.
And not always by the other parents. Sometimes it's an extended family member. It could be a close friend of the family.
That's not TV, though. That's an acrimonious divorce taking place.
That's right, but that's where it becomes personal for children. And it's not always in divorce. Even couples that are still married, one parent might be a little bit more aggressive than the other, and perhaps said in jest, but over the long term, a child will start to self-associate what's happening.
I'm afraid you've lost me now. I'm with you on father's rights. I think this is all claptrap.
Children know at a very young age that they are biologically made up of parts of both their mother and their father.
Do they?
I believe they do.
I've never met a child.
You didn't learn why and
well, I understand how that sort of thing. I mean, I'm British, so we don't really learn all that. But I don't think kids say, oh, I am made up biologically of some of my mum and some of my dad. They love their parents. They have a relationship with their parents if the parenting is half decent. It doesn't have to be perfect, but half decent.
Positive associations are wonderful. If I have a parent that has a particular talent and I am told that I resemble characteristics of that parent, that is a positive association. But if I am told on a consistent basis that my mother or father is inferior or some way or another, I'm going to start to self-assimilate some of that.
Well, I don't follow all the words. I'm a simple soul. But if a divorce has taken place and the 2 parents are not responsible, they will run down maybe the partner. Now, I don't think that always happens, because a lot of people, even when they get divorced, understand the children come first.
Yes.
And they might not, I can't stand that guy, but they won't say it to the child.
You would hope that they would, but you and I have already discussed previously on other shows the power imbalance that can exist in custody situations. You have one father you related a story about, and when he goes to the door to get his child, he is denied access. That is a serious form of parental alienation.
That's a mother breaking the law, and the police and lawyers not having the gumption and the integrity and the consistency to apply the law. I don't think that's about alienation. That's just someone who is saying, you're not going to see the kid.
Right, but they're doing it with the intention of actually driving a wedge between the child-parent relationship on the other side. And it's much easier, obviously, for a parent if a child just all of a sudden decides that they don't want to see the other parent. Now, in cases of actual child abuse, well, that's to be expected. But unless there is a serious situation that happens within a parent-child relationship, for the most part, that's going to be a very enduring bond.
If the court has said something like joint custody, I don't know, every second weekend, half the holidays, 1 night a week, something like that, which is fairly standard. And it's invariably the mother, let's be honest here. It's almost exclusively the mother. If the mother has the child most of the time, and when the father goes round, the mother says, no, she's ill, no, she's ill, no, she doesn't want to. If that happens, how likely are the police to intervene?
They're not.
They won't do it.
If you go to court as a mother or a father, whatever custody arrangement you come out with, you need to ask the judge to specifically have a clause that says it is to be police enforced.
And would the judge do that?
Very, very rarely will the police do that.
So if the police the police would intervene if there's a threat of violence, but if the police don't intervene, if you then go back to court, costing huge amounts of money to more lawyers, I've got little time for lawyers, taking money away from maybe the inheritance for the children, is the court likely to say, got to let him see the child, and if you don't,
the court is likely to say that multiple times, if not a half a dozen or more.
And if the woman disobeys?
There's very little that happens in terms of repercussions.
But if the father doesn't pay child support?
That's right, they'll be incarcerated, very likely. Possibility of incarceration at the very least.
So
those terms are going up for the amount of time that they can incarcerate.
Because I'm a man, obviously that means I have no valid opinion here and I have a terrible bias. But you're a woman and you will acknowledge this, that while men should pay support, if they don't, they're punished severely, often I think over-severely. If a woman denies access to the child after it's being court-approved, hardly anything would happen to her generally.
That's one of the areas that they need to look at bringing some very serious balance to. Today is actually an international day. I know we talk about all of these awareness days, but today is actually the 7th annual event, and it's an international event, and over 50 countries today are holding Bubbles of Love Day. The premise of the bubble being
wish you hadn't said that.
I knew you would just love it.
A bubble of love. What ribbon do we wear for this one then? What colour ribbon?
It's pink and blue, actually.
Pink and blue.
It's pink and blue.
I thought that was for White Rhino Preservation Awareness Day.
You would think that most of the men are the ones that are complaining about alienation, but there's an equal number of women that are complaining of alienation. You and I usually take the gender-specific side, but when you have both genders screaming about an issue, it's time to start having some discussions.
I've not seen TV generally portray mothers as the bumbling fools. Overwhelmingly, at least in my experience, it's been fathers who are portrayed like that.
Do you remember Married with Children?
Not really. Which was that?
The lady with the Al Bundy's wife.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, not potentially
the guy who's
the most
now in Modern
intelligent
Family.
Figure. Yeah.
Right, he's now in Modern Family, which is a great show because it proves, of course, that it doesn't matter gay or straight, you're always wonderful parents. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
After the break, Coren, you're fired! And you, and you, and you as well.